Isaac Newton was born on Christmas Day, 1642. Never the humble sort, he would have found the date apt. The gift to humanity and science had arrived. A sickly infant, his mere survival was an achievement. Just 23 years later, with his alma mater Cambridge University and much of England closed due to plague, Newton discovered the laws that now bear his name. He had to invent a new kind of math along the way, calculus. The introverted English scholar held off on publishing those findings for decades, though, and it took the Herculean efforts of friend and comet discoverer Edmund Halley to get Newton to publish. The only reason Halley knew of Newton's work? A bet the former had with other scientists on the nature of planetary orbits. When Halley mentioned the orbital problem to him, Newton shocked his friend by giving the answer immediately, having long ago worked it out. Halley persuaded Newton to publish his calculations, and the results were the Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, or just the Principia, in 1687. Not only did it describe for the first time how the planets moved through space and how projectiles on Earth traveled through the air, the Principia showed that the same fundamental force, gravity, governs both. Newton united the heavens and the earth with his laws. Thanks to him, scientists believed they had a chance of unlocking the universe's secrets. Newton's academic devotion was absolute. His sometime assistant Humphrey Newton, no relation, wrote, "I never knew him to take any recreation. He would only really leave his room to give lectures, even to empty rooms. Oftentimes he did in a manner, for want of hearers, read to the walls," Humphrey wrote in 1727. Newton never went halfway on anything. It would take too long to list his other scientific achievements, but the greatest hits might include his groundbreaking work on light and color, his development and refinement of reflecting telescopes, which now bear his name, and other fundamental work in math and heat. He also dabbled in biblical prophecies predicting the world's end in AD 2060, practiced alchemy and spent years trying, and failing, to produce the fabled philosopher's stone. Alas, even Newton's genius couldn't create the impossible. In 1692, this rare failure, along with the unraveling of one of his few close friendships, and possibly mercury poisoning from his alchemical experiments, resulted in what we'd now call a prolonged nervous breakdown. Newton's science-producing days were over, for reasons known only to him, though he would remain influential in the field. So how did Newton pass his remaining 3 decades? Remarkably, by modernizing England's economy and catching criminals. After languishing on a professor's salary at Cambridge University for decades, in 1696 Newton received a cushy royal appointment to be Warden of the Mint in London. It was meant as an easy job with a nice paycheck. "It has not too much business to require more attendance than you may spare," his friend Charles Montague wrote after landing him the job. But Newton, focused as ever, threw himself into it. After a promotion to Master of the Mint, he oversaw the recoinage of English currency, advised on economics, established the gold standard and replaced all the country's metal currency with improved, ridged coins, still in use today, which made it harder to shave off bits of the precious metals. He also focused his attention on counterfeiters, searching them out as zealously as he sought answers from the heavens. Newton established information networks among London's shadiest spots, even going undercover to do so. Counterfeiting was considered high treason, punishable by death, and Newton relished witnessing his targets' executions. Newton was known by his peers as an unpleasant person. He had few close friends and never married. Astronomer Royal John Flamsteed called him insidious, ambitious, and excessively covetous of praise, and impatient of contradiction. The man could nurse grudges for years, even after his foes had died. He famously feuded with German scientist Gottfried Leibniz, mainly over who invented calculus first, creating a schism in European mathematics that lasted over a century. Newton also made it his life's work to torment English scientist Robert Hooke, destroying the legacy of a man once considered London's Leonardo da Vinci. Bill Andrews said how fitting that the unit of force is named after stubborn, persistent, amazing Newton, himself a force of nature.